and I already installed the GIS plugin and all these things. You have to watch my previous tutorial if you are not familiar with this plugin. And this is here we can see GIS plugin. I'm going to use web geodata base map and I'm going to use Google satellite and press OK. It's going to connect to the server and going to show the map, and where you want you can go. So I'm just going to use the Sri Lanka because it has a lot of I like that greenery little bit because it's not, spelling is not correct. Sri space Lanka. I'm going to use a zoom level of 12 and press enter and press OK. So it is going to zoom into that area. Just wait a little bit and you can see actually now it's zoomed. So you need to select which area you want. So I'm going to use this area as it is because it has a lot of options here, and if you want to zoom out you can press minus button, so it will be zoom out, so you can get a lot of areas. But I don't recommend that because if you don't have high capacity computer, it is going to get complicated. So I'm just, in order to get everything smoother in for this tutorial, I'm just going to use the zoom level 12. But actually in the previous the high resolution example shown you, actually I kept the zoom level to 11 and I zoomed beyond that. So how to zoom beyond that and get to the higher resolution image? So I am going to show you this, and you have to follow exactly what I am going to do. Actually you cannot see what I am doing now. I'm doing some kind of whirling my hands. I'm doing some kind of magical words and magical winding, so you cannot do that. I'm just kidding. You can just follow whatever shown in this screen. So we need to lock this region first. So if I zoom this, so you can see I can zoom in this map, but I will lose the whole area. So if I zoom beyond that, so I'm getting high resolution imagery, but still I'm losing all the area. So I'm just concentrating on a simple area. So I'm going to zoom back to the 12 region, the 12. Okay, now I'm going to lock this section. So press the L button in your keyboard. L for love. So press the L button. So you can see now my map view zoom tool is locked. Now I can zoom up to my interest. So you cannot see anything in this view. So just watch what is going to happen in this area. So now I am in zoom 13 just simply by pressing the plus button, the number pad. So I'm going to zoom up to 15, and you have to keep in mind that anything if you try, I'm just saying that you just keep if you are doing the first time, just keep with whatever I'm doing here. So just make sure you have only the tile map beyond below 2000, so that will give you a safer result and quicker result. And if you are succeed in that, you can always create a new file and higher zoom level. That means you can the next level will be 5700 tiles. That means each of this section you can see all called tiles. So if I press once again, so you can see it will take a lot of time. So you can see almost 5000 tiles, and it will take a lot of time to download. Even if you have faster internet connection, it will take a little bit of time because all this section have to be downloaded separately and it need to be stitched together. That will take a lot of RAM and a lot of hard disk space and a lot of CPU usage. So I'm just showing that just keep everything below 2000 tiles, so you will get a satisfactory result. And for the tutorial purpose, I'm just keeping it below 2000. So I'm just only to the zoom level. My first zoom is actually up to zoom 12, and I zoomed only 3 times. So if you are at 11 and you zoom 4 times, and meaning the zoom 15, you are going to get 5700 tiles. So let's keep up to 3 times zoom and do whatever you want. If you want more zoom level, you can do that later. So already it's creating the mosaic. You can see you have to wait a little bit time to build the mosaic. So depending on the server load, the location, and your computer resource and the internet connection speed, it will vary and you will get different result on different area. If you choose London, you will get maybe much higher quality and maybe you can get a lot of areas. So it depending on the area and the server load on all these things and how the map source are available, you have to wait a little bit time. And you can see it has a lot of CPU usage, all this section. So it will change a little bit color after doing all this mosaicing things. After finishing that, as usual, you press E button, so it will convert all your data into a new mesh. Okay, you have to press E button repeatedly, so it will take a little bit time depending on how much resource you download and how much Blender is going to calculate all these things. So if because of the zoom level, so it won't work as smoothly as expected. You have to press repeatedly the E button and you have to wait some time. So I waited almost 5 to 10 minutes here. So depending, sometimes it will come very fast, so it's a lot of things going back, and so it's the zoom level and all these things. So now I already made a high resolution imagery, so you can see the image is a little bit higher and you can see a lot of details are going on. So I will show you how to get the height map. So in order to get that, you have to go same thing again, this WebGeo data, and you need to get SRTM. That is going to download the database from the SRTM database. So keep in mind that if you go up beyond 60 degree, you cannot download the SRTM because there is no SRTM data available in the 60 degree north. So now we get the height details, but still it's not that much smooth. You can see the height is not good. The image itself is pretty good, the diffuse map is pretty good, but the height details is not that much matching with the data. So in order to fine tune that, so before jumping that to, I want to show you something. So if I go to this the wireframe view, you can see there is only low resolution mesh, and the plane is very low res. We need to increase the resolution. That is how we are going to get the full functionality of the height map we downloaded. In order to do that, we need to click this button, the modifier properties. Actually the plugin already applied a subdivision modifier for you. In order to get everything as simple as possible, the plugin only use up to 6 subdivision. That is not enough for us, so I'm going to increase to 10. If you are using a low end computer, do not increase up to 10, just increase by 7, 8 and check if your computer can keep it up. Actually I'm using a laptop, it has 24 GB of RAM, so it's up to 11, 12, 10 is not a big issue. So I'm going to use 10 here for tutorial purpose. So it will take a little bit time. So Blender will add all the details. Now you can see a lot of detail is coming on our mesh. So I'm going to use the textured view, and you can see now we have a lot of details are going on, but now we get some trouble. So we get some kind of issues here, some styling issue. It is because of the texture value, how Blender is calculating the texture on top of this subdivision. So in order to fix that, you have to go to this button. You can see the texture properties panel, and you will see this is our SRTM texture, and you can see there is a tab here called sampling. Click that down, and you can see there is an option called interpolation. Click that button, and that is going to fix that issue. So it will take a little bit time. Now we fixed our issues, and we get a lot of good resolution imagery. And I will show you one more thing. If I go to the shader tab, it has already a material applied. You can jump into the node and you can connect all these things. I'm not going to show all that things, but we are going to reduce whichever call it's specular level, so just make it 0. Okay, so I reduced the specular and just the viewport shading rather than this one. So I'm just using the material preview node, so it will give you the actual mesh, and you can see a lot of issues. There is something because of the map. You can always fix that, and you can do some painting, texture painting, all these things, but this is pretty good. So if you want to get some zoom in values, if you go beyond 16 or 17 value, you can always get a high resolution zoom on top of that. And I will show you one more thing also. I will delete this light and maybe delete that. I'm going to use add light, sunlight. You can move that up, rotate a little bit, reduce the lighting, and that will give you a good resolution. So that is something you have to check. That I'm not discussing about how the lighting and all these things rendering, how you are going to render all the things. It's up to you. And I will show you one more thing. In the image map itself, you need to check this one. You can always increase and decrease the strength if you want more higher. Some areas won't get that much high details. You can always increase, so it will give you more depth to your scene. So you can just wait a little bit time, so it will make an extrusion. So you can see this way you can create some mountains or the real world landscaping. You can always paint and add water here. So this is the end of the section, but before closing this, I want to show you some tips. That means if this is how you work in Blender, but what if you want to reuse this one? So in order to do that, you need to save this scene. So I'm going to use save as. So always save in a folder, so that way you can keep all the things inside that. So I'm going to use maybe Sri Lanka. Inside that folder, I'm going to save this Sri Lanka, and that's the blend file, so it will save there. But we need all the texture to be packed. So if you are very new to Blender, or maybe you are coming from other software like me, maybe you are using Maya, Cinema 4D or 3ds Max, and you want this functionality, and you need this texture to be all these things to be maybe in the Unreal Engine or maybe another 3D program. You need to get how to get all this data. So in order to do that, you have to need to check that external data pack all into blend. So that you can see it's packed 2 files. That means it is going to collect all these textures. That means the diffuse texture and the height texture, and it is packed in where we saved. So I'm going to save this again, so it will save there. And I'm going to use external data. You need to unpack all into files, and you need to use files, the first one. So it will extract those files. You can see save packed files into Fermi CGs, the Sri Lanka, blah blah blah. So if I check that file, where it is to Sri Lanka, and we can see there is only one blend file, and it is a lot of data is going on, and you can see we have 2 texture file, and you have that Google SAT WM and SRTM. If you are going to mix different selection, that means in the next part maybe you want more zoom level, maybe up to 20. If you do not save in this particular way, or in the folder way, you are going to overwrite this texture, so you will lose all your work. You have to do everything from scratch. That is why I'm saying that always keep in folder, so it will save to that folder, and you can mix different textures. So I will show you that also. Actually, I made a tutorial on that. That means this, if you can open this texture in Photoshop and you can mix. And also you know that if you want all the road data or roadmap data on top of this, how you are going to get that? You can always do exact same location and you can use base map, so it is going to be the same. You can change to the map data and that will give you the same location, and maybe it will change a little bit. You have to zoom in and focus, so that will download. On top of that, you can download always things you can download, because we already have the zoom level and these things. So I'm saying that just make a new Blender file. So we already keep this here, and if I make another Blender, so I just want to show you, because if I use the same Blender section, it will going to get some issues there. So you can always select the exact area and you can download. So go to the same thing, go to map and press G, can go Sri Lanka, zoom level 12. You can always get that area. See, if you sometimes Google may not give you the full data. So if you go beyond that, they will provide you the data, the map with whatever they called, what are the watermarking issues. So you can download from Bing or maybe another maybe from other map section, or you can buy all that map and you can arrange it on top of this. So you can get these sections. You can go beyond that and you can get all this data. That means how the places are shown. You can always download this section by locking, and you can zoom lock and download all the resolution data, and you can build high resolution data on top of this. So if you want, so I will show you. So you download this map and you want high resolution, you can maybe same thing, but you want to focus on a certain area in your map. Okay, so you want to focus on this area. Maybe your project is here, so you can see the Google is adding their watermark here. So you have to keep in mind that if you stitch a lot of images together, and there will be going to be some watermarking issues. So if you want maybe your office or your house is near here and you want up to zoom level 20, and you can get that. That I already told you. If you have a high-end resolution, high-end system, you can always get that much details within the zoom level of zoom 10 or 12, and you can lock that and you can download that much details. But you can always get a lot of details just by locking to maybe up to 17 or 18, and you can zoom beyond that and download that much area. So if you want only that much area, why download all these GBs of data and wait 1 hours to Blender to finish stitch together? So just get a basic map and get the basic resolution, how much area you want. I recommend you to download up to zoom 15, then choose the area you want, lock there, and that means you unlock, make a new file and choose to zoom 15 and lock the area you want, and then you can zoom up to 18 or 20, whichever you want. So I always recommend you to zoom only 3 times. So every time you make so from 11 to 14 you make, then the next section 14 to 17, then the next section 17 to 20. So you will get a different increment zoom level of the data. Then you can combine them together inside Photoshop. That exactly what I shown in my next tutorial. I think nobody watched this one because is something about mixing photos. So you can see you can arrange and align images perfectly on top of each other in Photoshop. Actually, in this video I already show you how to mix different Google Map or Bing Map, different datas in particular region. So you can do the same thing in the Blender downloaded map. Just open the different TIFF images in the same way I show in this video. In this tutorial, you can get very high resolution map to your region, so you can focus to that and create a lot of interesting imagery, landscape imagery, and you can create whatever you want. Just create something extraordinary and share with FermiCG. So thank you for watching FermiCG, and remember that if you like this video, click the like button. Don't hesitate to like button or comment it, because it's hard, because I make a lot of effort. Even English is not my the first language, and I make a lot of effort to create this video, and I get only very little like and little bit share, and somebody after watching this video and they make the same thing and they get millions of views. So I know how the internet things works, but still I deserve more. So thank you for watching FermiCG. Have a nice day.